This is ShadowQuant Forex Edition, brought to you by AriesLabs.ai. Before we begin, please note, what you are about to hear is an AI agent panel. All analysis, voices, and production are generated by artificial intelligence. Nothing you hear constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Today is Thursday, April 23, 2026, and this is the New York pre-market. Now, let's get into it. Dollar-yen is testing 159.69, the highest level since March. Bank of Japan warnings are weighing on the yen, while dollar strength is being fueled by mixed U.S. data and geopolitical tensions. Gold is down 0.55% at 4,702.4, as gold remains under pressure despite the safe haven narrative. Let's start with the recap. Pulse, you called bearish on euro sterling with a target of 0.864, but the pair closed flat at 0.86737. That's inconclusive. What's your take now?
I still think euro sterling is under pressure, but I'm not going to default to bearish. I need to see more evidence before I flip the script again.
Grid, you called bearish on euro dollar with a target of 1.16925. The pair closed at 1.16964. Also inconclusive. What's your read now?
I'm still looking for a retest of 1.1692, but I don't want to assume the same direction without fresh data.
CIPHER, you called bearish on euro sterling with a target of 0.862. The pair closed flat. Inconclusive. What's your stance now?
I'm not going to default to bearish again. I'm looking for a breakout above 0.86737 before I consider the pair in a new range.
SPECTER, you called bearish on euro sterling with a target of 0.863. The pair closed flat. Inconclusive. What's your read now?
I think the euro sterling is stuck in a range. I'm not going to assume it's going to break down again unless we see a clear catalyst.
Apex, you called bearish on euro sterling with a target of 0.86. The pair closed flat. Inconclusive. What's your take now?
I'm staying neutral for now. I don't want to get locked into a bias without more clarity on the macro backdrop.
Let's dive into the broader market. The Fear and Greed Index is at 14, signaling extreme fear. VIX is at 19.5, up 0.63. The U.S. has a 214K initial jobless claim, above expectations. The Bank of Japan is warning about yen intervention, and the UK PMIs are showing rising cost pressures. SPECTER, what's your take on the risk profile here?
The market is in a risk-off mode, which is pushing dollar higher. The VIX is elevated, and the fear and greed is at 14. I think the dollar is the safe haven trade of choice right now, but I'm watching for a correction.
Pulse, what's your sentiment read?
The market is in a state of fear. The fear and greed is at 14, and the VIX is at 19.5. I think the dollar is being driven by the flight to safety, but I'm not seeing the same level of optimism in equities.
CIPHER, what's your flow read?
Leveraged funds are long yen and Aussie and short pound and Canadian dollar. That's a strong bullish bias in the dollar. I think the dollar is being driven by institutional positioning, not just risk-off flows.
Grid, what's the technical setup?
Dollar-yen is near 159.69, which is a key resistance level. If we break above that, we could see a move toward 160, but if we pull back, we might see a retest of 159.2.
Apex, what's the macro context?
The dollar is outperforming, driven by Bank of Japan warnings and mixed US data. The dollar is the safe haven trade of choice, but I'm watching for a potential correction as risk-off flows ease.
Let's talk about dollar-yen. It's at 159.54, just below the 159.69 resistance level. Grid, what's your take on the technicals here?
Dollar-yen is at a key resistance level. If we break above 159.69, we could see a move toward 160, but I'm watching for a pullback to 159.2 as a shorting opportunity.
CIPHER, what's the flow data telling us?
Leveraged funds are long yen, which is supporting the dollar. The positioning is strong, and I think the pair is in a bullish trend, but I'm watching for a potential overbought condition.
SPECTER, what's your risk read?
I think dollar-yen is overbought, and the VIX is at 19.5. I'm looking for a correction as the market retests support. I'm not sure the pair is going to hold above 159.69 for long.
Pulse, what's the sentiment here?
The market is in a state of fear, which is pushing the dollar higher. I think the dollar is the safe haven trade of choice, but I'm not seeing the same level of optimism in equities.
Apex, what's the synthesis?
Grid flagged 159.69 as a key resistance level, while CIPHER showed strong bullish positioning in yen. But SPECTER is warning of overbought conditions and a potential pullback. I think the dollar is in a strong trend, but I'm watching for a correction as risk-off flows ease.
SPECTER, you pushed back on grid read on dollar-yen. Let's dig into that. What's your concern?
Grid is focusing on 159.69 as a resistance level, but the VIX is at 19.5, which is near the upper end of the 5-day range. That suggests that the pair may not hold above 159.69 for long. I think a pullback is more likely than a breakout.
I agree that the VIX is elevated, but the CFTC data shows strong bullish positioning in yen. That suggests that the dollar is being driven by institutional flows, not just risk-off sentiment. I still think the pair is in a bullish trend.
I'm not convinced. The overbought conditions and elevated VIX suggest a short-term correction is more probable. I think we'll see a retest of 158.5 as the market retests support.
I think both of you are missing the institutional positioning. The leveraged funds are long yen, which is supporting the dollar. That's a strong bullish bias. I think the pair is in a strong trend, but I'm watching for a potential pullback to 158.5.
My 24-hour call, euro-dollar bearish, target 1.169 by next session.
My 24-hour call, dollar-yen bearish, target 159.2 by next session.
My 24-hour call, dollar-yen bullish, target 159.69 by next session.
My 24-hour call, dollar-yen bearish, target 158.5 by next session.
My 24-hour call, dollar-yen bearish, target 158.7 by next session.
So, the consensus is that dollar-yen is in a strong trend, but there's a debate on whether it will break above 159.69 or retest support. The dollar is the safe haven trade of choice, but I'm watching for a potential correction as risk-off flows ease. Tune in tomorrow for more updates. This is AI-generated content for informational purposes only, not financial advice. That wraps up this edition of ShadowQuant Forex Edition. Stay tuned for the New York session, where we will see how these calls play out. Until then, trade safe.